The protesters may have been cleared away from Parliament, but the discontent is far from over. And to discuss this, I'm joined by our political panel this morning, Minister David Parker and National MP Simon Bridges. But first, Minister, how are you feeling? I know you were testing positive for COVID earlier this week.
Yes, well, you know, I'm well vaxxed and boosted. I presume I've got Omicron. But I'm very lucky because of those vaccination protections. It's been pretty mild for me so far. So far, so good.
Are you still testing positive now?
I understand I'll test positive for quite a while. My symptoms are largely gone, but I'm, day 6, I think, 5 or 6 of my 10-day isolation. So.
Well, we appreciate you joining us still from your home this morning. Thanks very much. Simon, I want to talk about the protesters, and not so much the protest action now, but the fact that rage isn't going to go anywhere, is it? You know, physically they've been moved on from Parliament, but it goes online. Should there be some kind of criminal procedures for people who spread deliberate misinformation online?
I think in relation to the protest, I don't have the numbers, but something like 100 people have been charged. So, whether that's been for arson or rioting or disorderly behaviour, there are going to be consequences from this. I think what we do need to do, Melissa, is we do need to learn from this. We need to firstly work out in the immediate situation what went wrong, what went right in terms of police, Parliament, the Speaker, all of those things. But I think there's some more broad points. I mean, you're touching on one of them. I personally, as I've said on this program a number of times, I am I believe in freedom. I believe in people's liberties. I think we have to be very careful whether it's a fence around Parliament or what it is before we move on those things. I think whilst we can all condemn the protesters and the arson and the violence and so on, there is a broader frustration in New Zealand. It has been a complicated and increasingly messy couple of years.
David, there's been a change in language this morning, or a difference in language we heard from Porto Williams, saying that these people who were left at the end of the protest were disaffected and marginalised. That's quite different to what the Prime Minister and Trevor Mallard were calling them, which was more kind of a feral minority. So which camp do you sit in? Who do you think they were?
Well, let's be clear. This was a violent mob who occupied the lawn of Parliament, who said unless they got their way, they'd hang us. They blocked streets, they disrupted businesses, courts could not operate, children could not go to school, journalists were harassed and threatened. And when the police then did their sworn duty, they attacked the police and assaulted them. This was a direct attack on the rule of law. Now, your earlier question in respect as to what are the causes of that, I do agree with comments that are made that we do need to look at what are the influences from overseas and through social media for people who go down rabbit holes. Some of those people out there were misguided. Others were deluded, thinking that the government was sending radiation at them that they would protect themselves from with foil hats. Social media is one of the underlying reasons for that, and I was pleased to see the Prime Minister say that even beyond the Christchurch call following the Christchurch terrorist attack, she thinks we should be looking at those things more broadly.
It's been a heavy week. Sorry to interrupt you, Simon, but it's been a heavy week, right? So I think we should all perhaps just have a bit more fun looking at this issue now. And I think we obviously have the gaping hole now, which is Parliament's lawn. And I'm thinking that together this morning we should come up with a solution for a kind of outside the square idea for what we should have on Parliament's lawn. So I'm going to give you each 2 options, and you can pick from that, and then we're going to go into a final and come up with a bit of a different idea for Parliament's lawn this morning. So, David, you can choose from a jukebox that only plays Trevor Mallard's favourite songs, so Barry Manilow, the Macarena. That could be on Parliament's lawn as an install there, or a sprinkler system that is filled with bubble mixture. So, it becomes kind of a big foam pit. Which of the 2 ideas do you like?
I go for the bubble mix.
The bubble mix, okay. And Simon, your choices are either a statue of the Police Commissioner, Andrew Coster, or because it's, kind of it's covered in dirt and hay there now, a herd of dairy cows. Which choice would you like to go for?
Well, National's always wanting to ensure it's got good, strong rural support. So I'm going with the dairy cows. I think that I think that statue of the police commissioner would bring back bad memories for him and me. So, no.
Okay. So David, then pick between the sprinkler system and the dairy cows.
Well, I'd probably go with dairy cows too. I think I'm with Simon on that one.
Okay, but Simon, if you were to choose between sprinkler system and dairy cows?
I just have visions of, I don't know, Jerry Brownlee and Trevor Mallard and David Parker blowing bubbles all over the lawn. It sounds delicious. Maybe that's the one.
Okay, so we still have discontent. You can't even agree on what's going to go on outside Parliament's lawn.
Parliament. That is Parliament.
So maybe part dairy cows and part sprinkler system for a foam party. We'll put that proposal to the next caucus, I'm sure. Labour Minister David Parker and National MP Simon Bridges, thanks for joining us and having some fun this morning.